Hello and welcome back to the Frugal Granny channel. My name is Ali and I'm Frugal Granny. I'm a 65-year-old semi-retiree trying to do the best I can on what I've got. I've got a crazy dog called Bels, the pug, and she's down there at the moment eating the last bits of banana cake that we had for breakfast. There's a good girl, and I'm just telling the viewers that I'm a 65-year-old semi-retiree and I left my career ladder job last summer in June 2025 and I'm trying to do the best on what I've got until I get the state pension in July 2027. So this morning I just thought we'd have a little bit of a life catch-up. I was really quite worried about Bels on Thursday. Her nose is still a little bit of a mess, but the vet reassured me that this is quite normal. It looks quite sore because she's obviously a black pug, and where they've enlarged the nostrils, it's now rather red and raw, and the contrast against her black nose is quite significant. That should get blacker in colour as that heals, so I'm just going to have to bear with. Yeah, the main thing I think I was a bit fed up about on Thursday is that my third annuity had not come in. So I checked just before midnight on Thursday, which was the 30th, and it wasn't there. I checked in the early hours of Friday morning and it wasn't there. I fell back asleep after that, and then I checked again Friday and it was there. So I was really relieved about that. So I spent a little bit of time moving everything around the way that my strange brain can cope with, and everything's done now. Everything's in the right place. I've put my personal savings money for May into my emergency fund, and I've managed to pay back my buffer fund, the various bits and pieces that I borrowed out of it last month. I decided that it was such a lovely day I would take Bels to the woods before I did my shift. We got in the car, we drove to the Bluebell woods, and Bels had a little bit of the walk, but she spent most of it in her pushchair. But I just wanted to share with you the amazing bluebells. I guess you can hear the traffic, but I hope you can hear the birds singing as well. We had a walk there for about an hour, and then I settled her down and went and did my shift. Anyway, I got home sort of early evening and I was really tired. I pulled a ready meal out of the freezer. I had a chicken korma, samosas and onion bhajis in the air fryer, and I had a couple of the samosas. They're really nice, the paneer makhni samosas, delicious. And I didn't eat the onion bhajis. I'm probably going to have those with some soup for lunch. Then I went to bed to catch up on YouTube. The main thing that I've done this week that has really shocked me is file the paperwork on my desk. Now, I thought there was just a couple of months, maybe 3 months of paperwork on my desk, maybe from about New Year onwards, because I've really been quite busy since New Year, what with one thing and another. And I thought, right, I really need to clear that desk up. And I started filing those bits of paper, and it went on and on and on. And by the time I had finished, I realised I hadn't done any filing since last September. 9 months of filing on my desk. I was laughing with my son about it one evening this week, and he said, "Mum, that is really unlike you." And I was like, yeah, that is really unlike me. And it has got me thinking a bit that over the last year there has been so much going on in my life, really, and I think the lack of structure from not going into the office every morning. There was a definite structure to the day. Now I've got no structure to the day because there are no pressing demands on me other than my contracted hours at the supermarket, and those are pretty random and don't really allow me to structure my days the way that I used to do. And so I was just thinking whether, leaving all that paperwork like that was just a result of the fact that although I've been busy, that I've been floating through my days and through my weeks a bit, and things like paperwork have caught up on me. And, as I'm sat back here like this as well, looking at the ceiling, I can see little festoons of cobwebs as well. And I'm like, cleaning my house is catching up on me as well. I think now that I've had a year to try and adjust, well, it's not quite a whole year. It's a year and a bit since I resigned, and 10 months, I guess. And since I actually left the office, I'd like to think I'd had time to adjust now and get various things sorted out, but I still haven't got a fixed routine. I don't think that's a problem, but it just means I need to be a little bit more conscious about jobs that I did unthinkingly when I had a very fixed routine, because now those jobs are starting to fall through the cracks, really, filing, big cleaning tasks. Though I do think the big cleaning tasks have probably fallen foul of current world events. Yeah, let's blame the cobwebs on my ceiling on current world events, basically because I've been a little bit distracted by auditing my pantry and stocking up. So all of my energy and focus, I will admit, for the last 6 or 7 weeks has been on sorting out my pantry, estimating what I want, going around, gathering it up, labelling it up, putting it away, and also making videos. Making videos takes up an incredibly large amount of the day. I really enjoy the creative process, but it does take up an incredible amount of time. Yes, and then there's also been quite a lot of stuff going on with my family over the last year. And when I think about it, I'm so grateful that I have been free of the office to be able to support and help my kid. And, to be there to, lend an extra pair of hands and lift and carry and ferry, and and in some cases provide what they've needed to move into the next stages of their lives. And it's that's been quite wonderful, though, to be there for that. I have been very grateful. So sitting here thinking about things going forward, I do want to try and keep things simple over the next week. The garden's up to date for the time being, so I don't need to worry about that other than watering it. So my mind is still focusing mainly on my pantry. Okay, I'm not really quite sure how to explain this, but because I work in a supermarket, my shopping habits are somewhat different to what they were before I worked in a supermarket, and probably are very different to other people who don't work in supermarkets. Because as employees at the supermarket, we have particular weekends in the year where our discount is enhanced. And then there was the week before Christmas when we had 20% discount. And then at the end of May, we're going to be getting a 1.5% bonus on our eligible working hours for the last tax year. Those sorts of events in the calendar do mean that it would seem rather a missed opportunity not to stock up on things at that point. So at the beginning of December, those of you who've been with me for a while will know that I spent about £400 stocking up on non-perishable items to see me through 2026, and that included everything related to personal hygiene, bubble bath, mouthwash, toothpaste, loo rolls, toothbrushes, nail brushes, anything to do with cleaning, washing powder, washing up liquid. I stocked up as much as I could for the next 12 months. And the way I managed to do that was by putting that spend onto my credit card and then paying it off using the money I got in my end of December, beginning of January payslip, which, because I'm paid for weekly throughout the year, but I budget monthly, that payslip is actually extra to budgeting. So I was able to use that payslip to stock up on non-perishables for the coming year. And I know that people who don't have the same bonuses through their work as I do can't do that, but I did think that it would be foolish not to take advantage of that. I also am a member of the Loyalty Card Plus scheme, which is a subscription loyalty card, and I used that to enhance my discount as well on that occasion, as well as using top cashback. So I like to try and take advantage of these moments. Now we have another one of these moments coming up at the end of May with the 1.5% bonus, and I have done a bit of calculation on that, and I think I'm probably going to be due about £200 after tax. So what I decided to do is I do switch my Loyalty Card Plus subscription on and off, because I do not need to spend the amount of money that is required to get the discount every month. I don't need to do that because I am mainly on my own, but I do have, one of my adult kids here more often than not. So after my December shop, I turned it off, and then when I got paid in April, I paid to switch it back on again. It's $7.99 a month, and you get 10% off 2 shopping trips up to the value of £200. So if you spend £200, you'll get £20 off. But because you have paid $7.99 for the subscription, you don't actually get £20 off, you get about £16 off. But if you're going to spend £200 anyway, it's still worth it. So I reactivated it on April pay weekend, which was last weekend. And that's the other thing that's a bit difficult, is when your full weekly pay period doesn't coincide with the end of the calendar month. So I had to do May's shopping a week in advance, which is so, I have to be very careful about how I play things with my credit card, but I can't not have one because so many bits of my life are out of sync with, a regular calendar. So anyway, I will come clean and say that on my April payslip weekend, I did a £200 shop, and I took advantage of Loyalty Card Plus to do that. And that meant that I ticked an awful lot of things off my Pantry wish list, and I was really pleased about that. I've spent a fair amount of time over the last week getting that labelled up and put away, and that stuff is is almost like a backup of my backups. It's not to be used now, and that's why I've been so focused on long best before end of dates, because the stuff that I bought in April is not to be used now. It will probably be used 6 months down the line when the things that are in my pantry at the moment are used. So there's still a few things that I would like to stock up on. I mean, crazy things like aluminium foil and cling film. I'm going to be doing another £200 shop when I get my May pay and use the bonus that's coming to cover that shopping trip. The other thing that I did when I reactivated my Loyalty Card Plus was I looked at the calendar and made sure that the 1 month within which I have to use the 10% off coupons included both payday weekends. So as long as I do my second shopping trip on the Friday of the May payday weekend, I can still use that second 10% discount voucher alongside my enhanced staff discount for that weekend, and use my supermarket bonus towards one more big shopping haul, and then that's it. It will be time after that to regroup. So I've got a couple of weeks between now and then to catch up with cleaning jobs in the house, and then there'll be one more big shop over May payday weekend, and then after that I need to focus on house maintenance tasks in June and July. There are things that need painting that have been put off now for 2 summers, what with one thing and another, and so I really do need to get them done. They're not difficult tasks, they're literally painting walls or bits of woodwork. The one rather challenging thing is the exterior of my back door, and I am thinking about asking the guy who did the front exterior of my house last summer if he can fit in just doing my back door for me before the winter. There are bits of the moulding that are beginning to rot, and I don't want it to go further than that and get into the actual main structure of the door. I guess I could do it myself. Maybe I should just prioritise that and just get on with it and do it while the weather's warm and dry. And that's really where I am at the moment. I didn't mention about my April shopping being put on my credit card when I spoke to you on Thursday, because I just felt there was enough going on, quite frankly, with me trying to rearrange May's budget to accommodate the unexpected thing that I had to deal with last week. Even if I don't manage to get myself paid back for that and my emergency fund topped back up again by the end of May, I'll definitely be able to have done that by the end of June. And then the next big thing after that is paying for my household contents and buildings insurance, but the money for that's put aside. So yeah, life has been a little bit complicated. None of us really expected world events to take the turn that they have. From what I gather from the things that I've read and listened to, we're not going to see the effect of current events on the shop shelves until about July. So we've still got a couple of months within which to gather what we need at current prices. Though having said that, I did see, and I think I mentioned it on Instagram, that tinned meat went up 10 pence a can the other week, which was quite a shock. So, you know, the canned meat that I bought at £2 a tin has now gone up to £2.10. That's the reason I've been doing this, well, quietly, but not so quietly in the background, is because the price of meat is going to go up, and if there are shortages of meat, then I have got some tinned meat to fall back on. As one viewer said to me, well, what do you do with tinned ham? What do you do with tinned ham? Well, you use it just like a normal ham. I mean, I sliced half of the tin for sandwiches, which I think did me a generous packed meal for the shift that I was about to do. And then I used the other half chopped into some savoury rice. I mean, I could also chop it and put it in a type of spaghetti carbonara or a ham and leek bake, or put it in a quiche. Anything that you put ham in, I can chop it and put it in a soup. Now, if you're going to do that, just remember that tinned ham can be a bit salty, so don't salt your soup until you've put the ham in and heated the soup through, because you may find that the salt comes out of the ham and you don't need to salt your soup. Yes, so at the moment I am plotting a large shopping trip for the weekend of the 23rd of May, and I have also had a notification through my supermarket app that there is now another round of challenges. I'm going to incorporate 2 or 3 of those challenges into the shopping trip, because those are things that I need. One of them, and I think they seem to have latched on to the fact that I do buy cheese. One of them is the high-end cheese. Now, what I did last time was buy wedges of Parmesan, and they were on loyalty card offer as well, and I've stashed those in my freezer. We do eat that a lot with pasta, especially when we're making carbonara or cacio e pepe. So I'm thinking, I haven't quite looked yet, especially if Parmesan and is on loyalty card offer again, I may repeat that process and just put another 3 or 4 wedges into the freezer, and then that will see us through till Christmas. They've offered me dog food challenge again, supermarket brand. Bels uses the Win-A-Lot pouches because that's the food I was given when I picked her up from her last owner. I am wondering about moving her onto the supermarket branded tinned food, A, because it's cheaper, and B, because storing it is not as risky when it comes to furry friends, because I don't know if furry friends would nibble pet food pouches, but I think I would feel happier if I'd got the boxes of tins stacked up in the corner of this room than boxes of pet food pouches. So once the pet food pouches that I've got have been eaten up, I may try and transition her onto the supermarket dog food that my previous pugs ate, basically because it is in tins. And so for the pet food challenge, I may get a couple of crates of tins, and I'm definitely going to get some more of the softer chews that Bels likes so much, especially as she's lost so many teeth now, and the harder chews that she did like before, she can't chew them now. I'm going to try her with those chews again, but if she really doesn't, because I've got quite a few left, but if she really doesn't like them, I'm going to go and put all of those chews in the dog food bank bin at the supermarket. So yes, I'm going to use the cheese challenge, the dog food challenge. There is a pasta challenge as well. I have got a lot of dried pasta, but I did think I might use that for tortelloni, which I can put in the freezer. I think I can get about 6 packets of that and fulfill the challenge. Now, these challenges give you extra loyalty card points, and due to taking part in the previous 2 challenges, I have now got enough loyalty points to give me about £75 towards my Christmas shopping. So if I could get a few more points to boost that up and manage to get bits that I need for my pantry, that will bring my shopping up to the £200 I need to max out on the 10% voucher, then I will be very, very happy. They were also offering a challenge on frozen vegetables, but I don't think I'm going to do that because the vegetables take up quite a lot of room in the freezer. I may partially do that, but I don't want to end up buying too many frozen vegetables, so, because they can get freezer burn. And chips are not included in that challenge this time, which is a big shame. So yes, I'm looking at stuff that's on offer, checking out whether the offer will still be on by the time I plan to do my big shopping. I'm looking at the loyalty card challenges to see which ones I can make the most use of in terms of the big shopping trip. I do have some loyalty card personal prices this week, and again they're offering me coffee, but honestly I am so stocked up on coffee I cannot see the point of buying any more, even though I think I'm being offered it at £5.50 and it's £6.95, is it normally? Haven't got my phone to hand. I mean, that is an incredible saving. And if I put staff discount on top of that, it almost brings the coffee back down to pre-cost of living prices. So I'm severely tempted, but I don't need any. If the end date on the bags has moved to April 27, I might pick up a couple next Tuesday, which is the last day before the personal prices refresh. They refresh every Wednesday, but apart from the coffee, there was nothing else this week that they were offering that I felt I could take advantage of. There's a lot of sort of plotting going on in my mind. I know some of you probably think I've got enough in my pantry already, but I'm thinking next stage now. I mean, I usually like to keep 3 months, but I am thinking now in the 3 to 6 month range, because I would have done a big shop anyway in May, because some of the things I'd bought in the big shop I did in December only lasted 6 months, and I was going to do one more big shop in May or June to get me through till Christmas with those things. But the sense of necessity, the sense of urgency, I think has been enhanced somewhat due to current events. So it has the big May-June shop has become more of an issue in my mind than I thought it would be. But anyway, that's just a little bit of a catch up from me. I'm working hard, but some things are falling through the cracks. I have crazy plans to do even more shopping, and hopefully the bonus and the overtime will balance it all out by the end of June, if not the end of May. And in the meantime, I'm just hoping to get on with doing a bit of cleaning in my house. I'm looking at the glass lampshade at the moment. That needs a wash as well. There are lots of things that need doing. I do not want to get to this time next year and be sat here looking at the same dust. I really, really don't. But anyway, I hope you have a really good bank holiday weekend, and I'll see you on Monday for Magazine Monday. Hopefully there'll be a bit of cooking this weekend. I'm going to try and make an effort to do some cooking on Sunday. Okay then, bye bye for now, and thank you for watching.